Event organizers, if you're not ready to put an event, don't put an event. Because baba kuna vile mtakuja hapa, muadvertise nini event, watu walipe, and then ikifika huko, you mjapanga, the security is bad, kila kitu ni mbaya, and you want money? A well-organized event, a proper event haifai kuwa na any stampede. Because mnajuanga, mnakuanga mshapiga mahesabu ni watu wengi watakuja. Na mnaekea hapo watu kageti kadogo. Surely, do you think people are liquid? And to make matters more worse, instead of you handling that situation wakati watu wameanza kukanyagana, mnawafungia gate. To make matters even worse, mkaanza hadi kuwatandika. Yani mtu alipe 4500 ende huko mwanze kuwatandika. Are they children? One lady just died. Kwa hiyo stampede. Imagine, umetoka kwako umevaa smart, umelipa 4500, unajua unaenda have the best night of your life only for you to come back home in a coffin. The audacity of those organizers. Na mama nyamaza tu, shamelessly. No nothing, no apology, no anything. Mshapata pesa, so you do not owe us any explanation. Si ndio? Honestly speaking, that is so wrong. Yeah? Na hata si basi si lazima kukuwa na events. If you have poor planning, why will you come call people for them to die? And honestly speaking, let's be civilized as Kenyans. Yeah? Ukienda mahali na ujalipia kitu, unataka kuingia kwa kufanya nini? Tuongee tu kweli. Mtu ametoa 4500, hujatoa, unaingia kwa kufanya nini? At this events a must. Kama ni mbaya hivi, lazima zikue. Si basi tu kila mtu akaange tu kwake, mshikania na marafiki zenyu mweke Asake kwanza free, wimbo zake YouTube mnamuonea hapo one on one. Kama 4500 will cost somebody's death. Si basi uko na wifi kwa nyumba wewe unaniangalia hapa. Eka huyo Asake umuone kwa TV na wasanii wengine, because this is so wrong. And those event organizers wanafaa wa contribute kila kitu kwa hiyo mazisho msichana, sanduku, pesa, hata chakula, mulipie watu cause nyinyi ndo mumemua. As I finish this video, let's be safe. Hata kama ni festive season, tukue tu civilized, please. Yeah? Kwa sababu kuna jagani tukufe na tuko na next year tujafika. Tunaanza kukufa saizi na bado next year. Unataka kubaki tu 2025, yani wewe maisha yako yaishe tu 2025. When we go out, let's be civilized. Kama kitu yendani vizuri, heri ikae. Hakuna haja. And it's so painful. Good night.
And this is the moment I started hearing way more screams. People saying I can't breathe. There are reports that at least one person died in a stampede at the Asake concert last night at Nyayo Stadium. I was there, so this is my account of what happened. There were two sticking points for security at this event. One on the outer perimeter of the stadium complex, and then another one to get onto the field itself now. I got to the outer perimeter at about 9:15 p.m. And at that point, the security had set out two lines of women and two lines of men, all funneling into this one small single man gate in the middle. Now, the men, there was about two lines of 40 people, so it wasn't too bad. I just joined the back. But for the women, there was a few hundred, at least a couple hundred women who were waiting to get in. Bear in mind, there were no crowd control measures such as barriers funneling people in or zigzagging people to the front. It was all line up in the road and be behaved. First, it was a relatively orderly affair. No one was really trying to push in. But for some reason, the security stopped allowing people in. And it was a good 30 or 45 minutes before even one more person went through. This led many people to get frustrated. And of course, this line of 80 guys now turned into several hundred. And it was no longer two orderly lines anymore, because people started trying to push in, trying to make new lines. It was now just a big mob lining up at the gate at the front itself. Now, when more people kept trying to overtake, the police now started getting their batons out and hitting people. So that was the first instance where we felt a bit of a push each side, and people were really just trying to run away from the police. And the people around me were just saying, like, relax, this is how stampedes are caused, etc. But there's only so much you can do when there's hundreds of people now pushing against your backs. So it got to the point where they eventually started funneling people in. They would open this small one-person gate, allow like 10 people through, and then try and close it again. But every time they opened it, there was a massive rush to get forward. And now the men's and women's lines were mixing together to try and get through this gate. So they did this process a few times until eventually I started getting a lot closer to the gate itself. And this is the moment I started hearing way more screams. It was much more tight. People saying I can't breathe. People just panically screaming anyways. And there were a few guys who would try and come backwards saying, no, I can't do this. Like you actually can't breathe down there. I was now about 6 meters from the gates, but there were still dozens of people in front of me who were going to go in before me. And this is when I started to struggle to breathe. It wasn't good. And I think a lot of people around us towards the front also had that same idea of like, we're being pushed against this fence here. Everyone's like putting their arms in front of each other, like really restricting each other's airflows. So it was kind of like a group decision that we can't really do anything about this. The people at the front were like, we have to just try and break through the gate and the security. So that's really how the breach happened. I truly believe that most people there had paid for their tickets. I don't think it was similar to some other events in the past where people were just looking to cause trouble. Like most people there were talking about how we've paid for our tickets. So really for everyone's collective safety, people decided to just break through the security. And that's how the breach happened. And to be honest, if that didn't happen, it could have ended much worse. However, the second sticking point now was the tunnel towards the pitch. All these people had just run in and gone straight to the tunnel. Now there's a big gate in front and everyone starts banging on it saying, let us in, let us in. And obviously people are getting crushed left, right and center. This section here was now a lot more rowdy where people were now just angry. Let us in, let us in, let us in. And I believe this is the place that the paramedics had to attend to at least one person. And as you would walk past, you would see people lined up on the side, mainly girls just crying, and shoes everywhere, belongings everywhere that people had just left behind because they just wanted to get out of that situation. So eventually I made it to the pitch itself, but that's not something that I want to experience again for sure. And I think people need to be a little bit more aware of how stampedes start and how dangerous they can be.
Unpopular opinion, we need to start holding event organizers accountable for the shitty things that happen at the events. This is not the first time in Kenya tunasikia an event happened and then very terrible stories are coming from this event. It's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time, yeah? But what happens, we come online, we debate about it, we talk about it, we have this rage and outcry and sijui nini, and then other people make jokes about it, and then after that, no one is held accountable. Like, literally, nothing is ever done. No one is held accountable at all. The result of that is that these event organizers continue to hold worse events, yeah? Because we are clowns, and I'm also calling myself out as a clown. We are clowns, and we proceed to attend more and more and more of their events. Sasa, kama hii ya jana, what do you mean that young people died at a concert because of a stampede? Hiyo inamaanisha nini mse? Like, what was the crowd control doing? What was the security doing? How can you be doing such a big event if you know you cannot control the crowd? So many people were stolen from. So many people lost their property. So many people are injured. But the biggest thing is people actually died at a concert in Kenya. That is insane work, man. Like, that is insane work, yeah? Maybe I'm lucky because my friends and I decided last minute not to go to Asake and go to Soulfest instead. But, we need to hold these event organizers accountable. Who was even organizing the event? Wanasemaje? What was the problem? What happened? Who is going to actually answer for the lives that were lost? Man, I'm pissed. Guy, IZ. It's not okay. Man, it's not okay.
Let me tell you, there was just something wrong with yesterday's performance at Asake. Like, the artists were okay, the sound was good, the concert was good, it was well performed. Kina Gabzi, Kina Asake, they did their thing. But there was just something off. It was like a weird energy, you get? For example, hata mimi niliteguka, I sprained my ankle, so I didn't even last the entire show. I had to go home and tend to it. Paka dawa, and I just went straight to sleep. Like, it's giving the Travis Scott thing that happened. Because tell me why, ni kama tulitolewa kafara, always like tumerogwa. Because how is it that 3 people died? I know it is not like what was intended, because I think there was a stampede, but still, bro. And like a bunch of other people were injured, excluding the stampede, like their own personal injuries, and they were just they were in the ambulances. So I don't know what was going on. Some people had migraines, people were getting headaches, they had to go to the ambulance. And let me not get started on the people that were there, my guy. They were just weird people, bro. It was just, I don't know if they're Kenyans or it's just a weird Kenyan environment, bro. Oh, Kenyans are becoming weird or something. Because how do you lack like basic or like basic courtesy or basic decency, bro? How do you get a seat? Like everybody in VIP had you got a seat. We were seated on this other side. It was exclusive kiasi, and you get to sit on like the seats zenye ziko juu hapo kwa stadium, because the normal regular people didn't have seats, they were just standing. How do you lack like common decency or common brotherliness or friendliness to like how do you feel like you just because you're in the VIP section, you own this section? Like there was a group of people who did not want other people to pass wherever they were. It's like they were special or something. And I really think they were special or something up here. Some guy and his bald-headed demon friend or something. Some guy who was just ready to fight anybody, man. Ameenda gym siku tatu anaona azaa anaweza pigana. And his bald-headed demon friend over, I don't know, this girl, this shorty, they were just ready to fight, bro. For a section, for a seat that they were not... Make it make sense, bro. It's giving high school. It's giving high school bullies, bro. How do you mean like we've all paid, and you're telling people, it wasn't just, I was one of them, but you're telling everybody, you cannot pass here because we are seated here. Like a bunch of 3 people. Make it make sense. Then there was just a lot going on. A lot, bro. People were just crying. I don't know why. Well, I think tulitolewa kafara. There is something. Tulirogwa or something. And I'm just saying like events that transpired. It is what I saw. So this is something that actually happened. The washrooms were a mess. Like there were the external washrooms outside, like next to the entrance. But the washrooms inside the stadium, you find like the girls and the boys' washrooms were at the same place. So you find guys confusing themselves and going to the females' washrooms. You're finding females saying that they're opening doors and they're waiting in line to enter the washroom, and when the door opens, whoever's inside is a guy, bro. That is a bit dangerous. And some even the guys were not even closing the doors while they were relieving themselves. So it was not a very convenient scenario. But the food, there was a shorty who was selling food next to the entrance. She did a very good job. I think the food was good. Tulionja. I've never tasted the ginger on loaded fries, but it was actually, it slapped. There was some cheese and ginger on it. So basically the food was good. The meat was good. That's what I can say.
Yani ya kuna tickets tumelipia